Hey, thanks for listening, guys. This is the Flying Triangle. I'm Matt. I'm here with Sean and Kyle. We're going to talk a little bit of UFC. This past weekend, we had a fight night, and that's going to be the first thing we jump into. How you fellas doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
Doing good.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Fucking awesome.
Yes.
It's going to be awkward at first,
Yes.
you know? Small talk's going to be weird when you're on the first podcast.
Hell yeah, it is.
You got to open up over time.
We'll get there.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah.
I feel like a first podcast has got to have normal jitters of not. Imagine if you didn't know me.
Right.
You're like, oh shit. How do I
It
even?
kind of feels like that at first because it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's dope.
An endorphin rush from talking on a microphone, which we probably do. I don't know, like depending on the day, on our phone pretty regularly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Xbox Live parties.
Xbox, right?
Xbox Live, yeah. That kind of prepared people for podcasts.
Your mother's a whore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially all the racism.
Yeah. Well, I personally didn't watch the card last weekend.
I didn't either.
I
It's
knew
one of the
you
few
hadn't.
that I did miss.
Did
I
you-
did. I lost $500, so.
Did you watch the whole card?
Yeah.
What was your bet?
I had,
You had Hermansson winning.
I got two of them right, and then I had Hermansson winning.
Ah.
Yeah. He was actually the first to call me. And Sean Strickland looked horrible and obviously winning. And I was like, well, and I still haven't watched highlights on it or anything.
I haven't watched anything on
Well,
it.
because I had
I just
two.
know who won.
I picked two different parlays, and the other one I got two of them right because I had Sean Strickland. I think I had the co-main event right. I can't remember, but then I had Sam Alvey break into the old streak, and that didn't happen.
I wonder how many times I bet on that. I probably won't have too many shots to.
I've never bet on Sam Alvey in my life until this weekend.
Well, you know,
Because before this weekend, I was a smart man.
yeah, you just got stupid overnight.
It was a super thin card.
Oh, it was. There was nobody besides the main
The
event.
co-main event, I've never even heard of either of the guys in the co-main event.
No, me neither. Honestly, I just picked one of them.
Was there any fight that stood out to you?
No, because I missed
That
the prelims, but I saw there was a good finish on the prelims.
Do you think that had anything? I mean, just ask
One
him.
dude won in 16 seconds. Cheetah,
Oh, no, yeah, that dude hit-
it's Anthony Njokuani's brother.
It's his brother.
That's
It was
awesome.
his UFC debut at 33 years
He
old.
won in
16
seconds.
16-second knockout. Yep.
let's
Alexis
just keep seeing
Davis
that.
fought on the prelims.
Yeah, dude.
Alexis Davis fought Ronda, didn't she?
Yeah.
In Strike Force, maybe. That was a long
Something
time
like that. Well, also, dude, that girl is like similar to GSP. You punch her once, her face blows up like she's got the hell beat out of her for 5 rounds.
Yeah. Yep, I know what you're. Yep.
Yeah, I have no idea if she fought around him, so don't ask me.
Strickland is. So who does Strickland get next?
I mean, one more guy.
Yeah, it's-
you tell me. I can't.
Well, no, the thing is, it's gonna be
Look up
one.
the rankings real
It's gonna
quick.
be one more guy, hopefully. But like I said, it was a really underwhelming performance against a guy who like barely fought back. Like he could, he had no pressure against him, and he's normally the aggressive fighter. He didn't do that. It makes you worried about what he's gonna do if you give him a big fight. If you try to
shit his pants.
Yeah, if you're trying to promote him in a big fight or a
Maybe
big pay-per-view,
fights
he may drop the
winner
ball.
of, Cannonier and Brunson for a title eliminator fight.
I think Brunson wins. I think if Brunson wins, he gets a title shot. So-
Yeah, he's on a bit of a streak
Yeah.
right now, isn't he?
He said he's only fighting 2 more times, period.
Well,
yeah,
we
yeah.
won't
He's
make any
retired.
predictions. We'll do that here in a little bit. But I want to.
yeah.
I want to chime in on that. But you were.
Did you see the Brunson news?
Well, what about it?
He said 2 more fights, win,
more
lose,
fights,
draw,
win, lose, draws, whatever he's
champion,
done.
whatever he's done. Said he wants to
I
spend time
think
with
2
his
more
family.
fights in addition to the one he's already got.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
See,
think
now-
3 in total.
In
Yeah.
most sports, I'm going to tell you, I prefer when a fighter just retires out of nowhere. But in
Yeah.
the fight game, I think it's a little bit different because you don't get the roses.
The
like you
coolest
do.
one to me ever retirement-wise was the way Lytle did it. I think it was like a few days before the fight. He was just kind of
Yeah, and then he submitted Dan Hardy and got like performance of the
He
night.
got fight of the night and submission of the night.
Yeah.
It was when they were still doing knockout and submission.
As a bit of a conspiracy theorist, I wouldn't want judges to know
Yeah.
that I'm going to retire regardless. Because
They're talking about
if push comes to shove, I don't want to give a man retiring the belt. What's that going to do? Throw
Yeah.
everything into a
Sal
quagmire.
Valentin or whatever, that judge. Sal something.
Sal D'Amato.
Yeah, D'Amato. Yep, I was going with. I was
Well-
talking about Practical Jokers, but no, but
Sal Volcano.
yeah. They said like people were calling for him not to be able to judge fights anymore because
If I'm pretty,
he's the one who made it a split
Who's
decision.
that other one? The Crosby. There's a judge with the last name Crosby.
Well,
and
get
I
your
think
boy,
he's
dude.
Notoriously bad.
Get your boy, man.
I'm trying to hit him up. Be like, hey, dog, get me in some fights. I just want to sit front row.
Well, I feel like, even though this fight this past weekend was it was obviously, it would take no judge with any kind of merit to still be able to judge that he obviously won, right?
Yeah.
So it was very obvious. Anybody
Well,
would have said that.
They gave the one judge they were talking about gave a split decision for the other guy. Hermansson or whatever.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, wow.
It was
I
like
think it was like 49-46, 49-46, and then
40
47-48.
I was just
Yeah.
trying to have a clever transition back to the topic.
No, yeah, it was like
And
a
it-
really wild. It was a really wild.
That's
It's
why I
just
brought
like,
up
how do
the.
two judges see
that's why I
it
brought
that
up the
way
judge.
and one judge
Oh,
see
really
it that way?
obvious win. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's why I
insane.
brought that judge up because it was the one
Because
from.
it applies. So
Yeah.
it shows
Man.
me. But yeah, well, and when I look at it, you told me, you're like, he should be ashamed. And then when I saw the news and I was looking for some stuff, I was like, he says I was a pansy. I was like,
He
Kyle
goes,
literally told me that he should be embarrassed.
He
Like, he
goes-
literally is.
he goes,
crazy.
no disrespect to Hermansson, but I was a pansy and I still
Yeah.
dominated him. So it's
Yeah.
like, no disrespect, brother.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, where does Jack go from here?
Probably fights like a 15, an up and comer who's a 15 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you do.
He's still probably like number 6, number 7 after this. I mean,
Just doesn't do anything.
Well, he probably fights someone outside
maybe
the top 10.
maybe the loser of Cannonier Brunson.
We'll
Oh
say-
no, either
we'll
one of
say
those
he
guys
stays
would
in the
ice
pool.
him, dude.
How was the Sam Alvey fight?
It was embarrassing.
Sam Alvey, we said we'd mention it, even though it's a sad thing to mention that our beloved BJ Penn had a record, and now Sam Alvey has tied it with the potential of beating it for most consecutive losses in the UFC.
You know what? I don't know if he's going to get a chance to beat it.
God,
That's I was saying.
Yeah, I don't
like,
think
how
he's going to
many-
get the chance to beat it.
Right, I don't
it's
think
not
you're-
loss. I think it's unbeaten because he has a
Yeah,
draw.
yeah, he has
Oh,
a
okay,
draw,
that's
yeah.
what. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think BJ Penn had a draw in that run too.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
Right now, Sam Alvey is at 9 fights in a row, not winning.
dude,
One of those being a draw, and
Who's
three
he
of those
to-
being lost.
no, seriously. Okay, you get BJ Penn, legend. You keep giving him chances, but who's Sam Alvey topping off behind stages that he's still getting fights after not winning 9 times in a
I
row?
guess he is fighting a lot of really like good fighters.
But
like,
look at the people they cut after 2
yeah,
losses.
True.
Like they cut people after 2
Well,
losses.
well, you just brought it up a minute ago. If he gets another fight, it's like, what kind of clown show are we?
It won't surprise me.
Dude, he's gonna. You know what he's gonna be? He's gonna be the headliner on the early prelims.
You know, he'll be there to break that record, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be heartbroken.
What
if he
was
goes.
he on that? Was he in the main card of that?
Yeah, he was. He was like.
Are
He
you
was like.
fucking
Yeah, he was like the
kidding me?
4th fight.
Oh my god, he was. And Brendan Allen's really good. The fuck is he doing fighting Sam Alvey?
I wonder if Sam Alvey filled in. Do you think he filled in?
No.
Passing you a story because I can't pronounce
I've heard of this
names.
guy. I know his first name is like Shavkat.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sick of all the Hamzat Chimaev comparisons.
Yeah. So what he's talking about
It's
is
the guy that he fought on this card, right? This
Yeah,
most
he
recent
did, he
card?
did.
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And so what he's talking about is, nothing think negative about anyone.
Yeah.
Just straight up, I don't want to be compared to somebody
Right.
who's winning like that.
Well, here's my thing. How do you live up? Like, there's a reason why certain athletes come into the league. Like, let's go like random off the water. Sidney Crosby instantly was compared to Wayne Gretzky. And how do you live up to something like that?
Yeah.
Like, you don't.
just like people coming in, it's immediately Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Anyone.
Yeah.
Player is talented. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Or
he's large and talented.
Magic Johnson. You know,
yeah.
like,
He's a tall point guard. Magic.
Yeah.
If he's a big dude, Shaq.
yeah.
You know, same thing right now. Joe Burrow's in the Super Bowl. Whatever. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Does he have
Jeez.
Tom Brady swag to him?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is for the first 2 seasons, Tom Brady could not throw the rock like
Oh
Joe
no,
Burrow
no,
does.
we're not getting into football. We are not getting into football. We'll be here all day. But still, I kind of feel for that idea, and it's not like it has anything to do with media either. It's just like what's happening in the octagon
Yeah.
is producing stardom, and that's why I wish it was more like that.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, it's like when you got like people don't get paid if they're not getting pay-per-view sales. So you have to, dude, honestly, I would let you, it's one of the only sports where I would be kind of okay if you were comparing me to one of these greats because it's quicker path to getting your contract that says pay-per-view sales because you're a name. You're getting on the news, all that stuff. Like if you're like, oh, this is next Conor McGregor, say fuck a couple times. The next thing you know, you're getting right in there.
Yeah,
And then-
act a fool
Yeah.
in front of a bunch. But again, that's more
Get him to
media
tweet
driven.
you.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That
beat your
is
first
more-
3 guys, like the what's his name, the Sweden guy or whatever who's coming up that he was talking about compared to the welterweight.
Oh, talking about Kamzat? Is it?
Oh, Hamza. Yeah.
Yeah, well that's the
Well,
thing.
no, he's Dagestani. He lives in Sweden.
No, yeah, I mean like
Yeah.
him and
Yeah.
Gustafsson talks about
He
him a lot because
defected
they're
to. I think when he was young, he defected to Sweden.
Oh, I was like Swedish,
Yeah.
dude. What?
But he's from not Dagestan. He's from He's Chechnyan.
yeah. But the thing is like that guy has beat. I mean, decisively. I'm not gonna say that, but that's what you do. Look what Connor did. He came in talking that shit, got 2 fights he should have won, and he won them. And next thing you know, he's headlining pay-per-views. He's like, and that's what they did with this guy. They followed the same exact route.
He's about to fight Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, and he beats Gilbert Burns. He's got a title shot. 4 fights in.
And I mean, that's not going slow.
No, the
Gilbert
first 2
Burns
fights. No, it's a huge jump up after the second fight.
Big.
It was Zhang Li
I'm kind of impressed that they have the balls to throw caution to the wind because, I mean, he might very well lose. And what are you doing then with your cash cows? You know, what
you do then is you're still like, hey, man, it was Gilbert Burns. He just fought for a title.
No, you're right. But you don't think that puts out any flame?
Well, what the thing is what it does, it puts out the flame, and then you move him down, and he fights Stephen Thompson, and he thrashes him.
Just reignite it.
Yeah.
It's a thing you'll see UFC do often. Another bit I saw, kind of a funnier, a lighter note. Anthony Johnson rumbles with. This is
Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah, Clever. Anthony Rumble Johnson rumbles with Bruce Buffer over UFC's treatment of Francis Ngannou.
I heard about this.
Yeah, so he says, end quote, "No offense to other organizations, but you become irrelevant when you leave the UFC after a while." Yeah. Buffer says, "What are your thoughts on that?"
All I'm saying is like Anthony Johnson had the fucking terrible luck of being in that division when there was actually 2 legitimate 205 champions in Daniel Cormier and John Jones. Anthony Rumble Johnson, in the gaps where they're not there, is possibly 205 champion. Put him against Glover. I mean, you don't think that's not a puncher's chance where he could ice Glover?
He beat Glover, didn't he? Didn't he knock Glover out?
He may have, early. That's what I'm saying. Like in Jan, you don't think he couldn't throw hands with Jan? And he's big enough and has a wrestling background that Jan's not going to do what he did to Israel or nothing like that.
No, I'd watch it.
Dude, Anthony Johnson fought at 170 and heavyweight.
I mean, it's the blow up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is when he's fighting 170, it was like same thing like Darren Till.
He knocked out Glover Teixeira in 13 seconds with 1 punch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You don't think? That's what I'm saying about Anthony Johnson.
Cormier in a title fight, and then he retired, but then came back.
Well,
in May of last year at Bellator and knocked out Jose Augusto.
Well, here's the thing. That kind of proves Bruce Buffer's point.
Because he's fighting.
Well, it's like when was his name in a headline besides this one after he left the UFC?
Criminal shit, I think.
Yeah.
I think he had some heat with the law.
But here's my thing. Did you see the Chad Mendez story recently?
Police,
Chad Mendez is in bare knuckle now.
Oh,
and he was pretty much like, I'm going to bring home more than Francis did.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Significant amount more than Francis did for one bare knuckle fight.
That is bare knuckle, though.
It's kind of got
you kind of do got to sway the needle for that.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah. To get real fighters to sign on to that?
No, that's what they did. PFL did the same thing. They took Rory away from Bellator after Bellator took him away from UFC.
Bare knuckle that'll be dropped. That there will be no bare knuckle fights in 10 years.
No, here's the thing. Wait until someone like Francis. Wait till someone like Francis, a type like that, gets in there and actually like decapitates a man.
Oh man,
somebody, multiple people. If it were to ever get big, would be the craziest thing ever.
Well, when like the real skilled fighters get in there, the real super skilled fighters who have great trainers.
Adesanya takes a bare knuckle fight.
Well, honestly, that'd be a better case scenario because he's a punches and bunches guy.
Yeah,
I'm talking about these guys like Derrick Lewis.
Oh yeah,
Derrick Lewis just lining up.
Dude, Derrick
Lewis versus Nagano in a fucking bare knuckle boxing match would be.
It'd last a minute.
No
30.
grappling, and it would just be them having to bang pretty much.
Oh man,
what do you think about Francis versus Tyson Fury?
In a boxing match, Francis gets pieced up.
Well, here's the thing.
Bad.
Tyson said he would do it in MMA.
Well, if they do it in MMA, then Tyson gets pieced up. Bad.
Well, especially after...
I feel like the growth...
Well, look at Francis. The last 2 fights. Francis against Stipe was amazing because Stipe actually...
Oh, that was insane growth.
It was insane growth.
I did not think that was going to happen. I think we all had a feeling he was going to win.
You always make the good point whenever he fucking stops that takedown.
Yeah.
Whenever he stuffs his takedown,
and it's deep.
Like, whoa.
It was deep. That's as soon as it happened, because they weren't doing anything the whole fight.
Yeah.
He sets up a good feint and has a good takedown attempt, but the sprawl was an actual MMA level sprawl. Like, it wasn't like just a boxer who's been like, oh, I'm trying to learn how to sprawl. Yeah. It was an MMA level sprawl against the best fighter in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
Doing something that he likes to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using it, getting in his bag.
Yeah. He can throw hands, but Stipe also...
Well, because, Stipe is literally like, I'll throw hands as long as I have to, but if it starts going south...
Isn't that kind of how he got... Wasn't he Mirko's wrestling guy for a long time? He would always, for Mirko's stance... I think that's kind of how he kind of got his start.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Well, I never thought that DC was going to beat him because I was like really high on Stipe.
Yeah,
and like that's why it was. I do think the first fight felt a bit fluky.
Fluky, dude. Well, the second fight, I know he lost it, but DC was winning that fight for 2.5 rounds until he got pieced.
That's
Which
true.
I mean, he still lost.
Body shot. It was like
point.
a 3-piece to the body. Just he just nailed him.
DC was looking,
but DC
DC
can
was
hang in, and he's got a tank.
Yeah,
right. So I was like, this plays well into DC strengths.
Yeah.
Well, Steve went with like that Cain Velasquez method. He's like, I'm gonna be 240 to 250.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cut any weight whatsoever. I'm gonna be fresh as hell coming into the fight. I can eat what I want. I can stay energetic the whole time.
Right.
I don't got to be like lethargic for the last 2 weeks of my camp because I'm not eating or drinking or doing anything. Like I have nutrition in me forever. I don't got to rely on the IV shot that they limit now because they don't want you juicing back up too far.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what Paulo Costa does, where he'll fight at 185 and weigh 212 or like 213 of the night of the fight.
It's insane.
In one day.
Size discrepancies in
It's kind of cool. You know how they do
wild.
it in ONE FC where they test their hydration level, so that's kind of like illegal for them to cut weight. They have to fight.
They were trying
really
to do that
close to their natural weight. Like Mighty Mouse fights as a 135er in one, and so pretty much anybody who goes over like Eddie Alvarez, I think fights at like 170 and one.
Also, I'll
so
say
it's
this right
more
now.
natural. Like you're fighting people who are more naturally your size.
I'll tell you right now.
People aren't cutting like 50 pounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
I said PFL earlier, but it was one that took Rory, wasn't it?
No, I think.
Or is he the PFL guy?
No, Rory fought for PFL recently.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. He didn't even make it to the playoffs. Or whatever they call their championship. Whatever. He didn't even make it. He lost.
No, it was a robbery. Everyone says that he got a split decision loss to get in, and he clearly won the fight.
Oh, what's dude's name that beat him? He's like a UFC guy, wasn't he? Like a Brazilian dude.
I can't remember who it was.
He got a gift wrap decision win over Rory. Was kind of sad.
But this is also going back to Bruce Buffer. Who is Demetrius Johnson? What? My man left UFC, and who's Demetrius Johnson? After it.
Point. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I still would absolutely geek if he were to pop up on a big card.
Yeah,
and I guess this proves his point indefinitely. If he popped up on a big card,
you see him get
UFC.
fucking knocked out.
No, if they're like, you know what?
Doesn't that make you sad?
Yeah, well, wasn't it kind of weird? Like, did he get kneed in the head or something? Kind of a situation.
No, dude,
and
that shit's
he'd just
legal.
been talking.
He's getting
about Aljamain.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh wow,
Aljo was the first person on Twitter too who was.
No,
like,
he did say something about it too. He's like,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you get knee in the head on the ground, pretty much. Like,
that's just karma. And I always felt like
karma for Johnson.
for saying something. Yeah.
Oh,
the guy that got that gift wrap decision over
Gleason
Rory
Tibau,
Gleason Tibau.
Oh,
That's
God.
who, yeah.
I used to love that guy in UFC too.
He's gonna go in the box. I was talking to one of you guys about it. We're gonna do
doing
a
the
segment.
box,
We're gonna throw some names in a box, and you're gonna have to make the
Defend him.
argument.
Yeah, you're gonna have to defend him even if you don't want to. No, I wouldn't say.
That's what on the fence.
Well, hold on.
That's on the fence segment.
Okay, I
No,
like that.
I think it should be not greatest fighter of all time, but gas him up more than he is. Like, because you can't ever make a legit.
I like
You
that
could-
we start because that was the kind of the whole like.
Well, you can't say Gleason Tibau is the greatest fighter of all time. You can never
It's
make
just
that
a joke,
argument.
but that's
Kyle,
the
I
joke
know
of
right
it, though.
now.
Never.
2 more beers, you could make the point that Gleason Tibau's the greatest
Yeah.
fighter.
I'd be that
I'm
type
telling
person.
you, buddy.
That's what I'm telling you, when I play, that's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna be the type of
starting it
person-
with Gleason Tibau is the greatest fighter of all time, and then I'm going to make my case.
Well, no, here
when it's my turn to do.
We should
whatever.
also do the same thing where what we did on the phone that one time. And we should have our laptops up, and we're pulling up Wikipedia page every time and just name a fighter that beat that fighter.
I'd love to just see where we get with the greatest fighter of all time.
It should just be something short.
you know
where,
where I think it'd get down to?
without you should have to do it for at least 5 minutes without looking anything up and just maybe
Well,
not. Say
we'd
the
have to start
greatest,
with
but
we'd have to start with big names if we weren't looking up though. We'd have to start with
I think I could do it. We could test it.
No,
out at least.
the
tell me.
original-
Okay, throw out a guy that
fellas,
beat
fellas.
Gleason right now.
The
It's
original.
about. Let me think about it.
Name a guy in UFC that beat Gleason right now.
Edson Barboza, I bet fought him. Let's see. I'm super wrong about this.
And I liked Gleason when he fought, but I
Did he
still
not fight Khabib?
well he didn't beat Khabib.
Oh yeah, that's what we're discussing. But did he fight? Did he fight Khabib?
Fuck, he didn't fight him.
He said, "Fuck, he didn't fight him. He's not even being recorded." I wanted to know. I wanted to
Rory
be known.
McDonald. He beat Rory.
Like all the way from the mic.
Will
Yeah, no,
Brooks.
I was about to say I wanted to be known. He did not fight
Efren
Edson Barboza.
Escudero. Norman Park. A bunch of. I mean, he's
No,
beaten some.
you know
some
what's gonna come
nobodies.
down
What's his
to?
biggest win?
I mean, it's got to be Rory McDonald, right?
Oh, for sure.
Back in June of just last year.
Beat Rafael Dos Anjos too.
Well, the Rory one's the one we're talking about that was bullshit.
Michael Johnson knocked his head
Varner.
off.
What kind? The way you
He
said
beat
that.
Rafael Dos Anjos.
No,
That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm like reading.
no. What kills me is you said Rafael Dos Anjos casually, and then you got excited about Jamie Varner. Like RDA
It
is
was
not.
more.
I was
it
about to
more
be like,
excited about
dude,
just
he
seeing
beat
his
Kyle
name.
Uno, dude. Oh my God, he beat Josh Neer.
Dude, I'd flip out
did.
seeing some Cal Uno on there.
He
no,
beat Jeremy
Uno's a
Stevens. That's a good old. That's a
well,
good
how
win.
long ago
Cal
was
Uno's
it?
the
How long-
recipient.
Oh, we're talking about
Cal
2000,
Uno's still to this
2009.
That's when Jeremy Stevens was a stud too.
Cal Uno still to this day is the recipient of my favorite knockout in UFC
BJ Penn.
history.
BJ Penn.
You know,
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do when I get to this section of like a Wikipedia page where I'm looking at fighters, of course, it's great to see a name like a Josh Neer. He lost to Melvin Gillard, but then
Melvin Gillard fighting at like 205.
I move over, and this is 2009 again. I move over, and I want to look at what the card's name is, and this card over here, Florian Gomi.
Florian
versus Gomi,
Dude, I would love to see
Above
that fight
it,
now.
Marcourt Polharis. Don't even remember who Polharis. And the fight
Polharis is the one. He's the one who would like just choke people out and lock that shit
Or
in.
like he'd lock in knee bars and like
And not let
ref
go.
would stop
He
him.
just would-
You don't remember
Yes,
that?
no.
Yeah.
He got cut. He got cut because he
Yeah.
like rear naked choked some
Oh.
guy.
He
and
was on
was
like
just
a big winning streak and was like
Yeah,
being
no.
talked about for a title fight.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
he'll give you some good late night YouTube content too.
Yeah.
You'll see those in
He's
complete.
been named
That
this.
Jeremy Stevens was a UFC Fight Night Condit Campman. I'm like, oh man, does that not kick you right back?
I remember that card.
dude.
I remember.
Well, because everyone
Campman.
said that Campman won that fight, but they're fed it to
Yeah.
Condit because he was up and coming from WC.
See, that's a fun angle we could go on going down the Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Dude,
Would be
honestly-
to look at a fight. Look over to the right, and just going through. That's Ryan Bader versus Carmelo Marrero. Do you guys remember that fight?
Well, here's the thing, dude.
That was Ultimate Fighter, or no, it was like that was Bader's like first fight I think after winning Ultimate Fighter.
That Gleason to Bow Jeremy Stevens fight was a catchweight at 158. Is that not
Somebody probably
interesting?
missed weight, and they probably
Gleason missed.
agreed.
Gleason
Yeah.
missed it. Gleason missed weight.
He's a big
No doubt
boy.
about it.
He's like short, but he's like a thickie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Jeremy Stevens eventually dropped to 145 after
Oh,
that. So
we should talk about Jeremy Stevens just got cut.
good.
did he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
One of
here's-
the longest tenured
here's my thing.
UFC fighters they had.
The
and
dude I would not want to run into.
he was on like a bit of a losing, and he did an interview. And
But
this was kinda
Sam
cool. I
Alvey
think- I
still
wish
has a
fighters-
job.
Do what?
I said,
Sam
but Sam
Alvey
Alvey
still
still has a job.
I know, dude. That's insane. He did an interview, and I thought this was kind of most fighters wouldn't say some shit like this, but he was like, "Man, I've done so much for them," and blah blah blah. He might not have said it exactly like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he was like, pretty much kind of like throw me some easier fights. He's like, I'm fighting like killers every time. He's like, I think he's kind of just saying like, throw me some easy fights where I can make some money. And it's like I don't know, UFC should kind of do that sometimes.
He was on a
with-
pretty bad spell of losses,
yeah.
and his last wins were Josh Emmett. Okay, Choi
That's actually a
Duho.
decent win, Josh Emmett.
That's a good win.
Yeah, but when you look at, he'd lost 5 before it, or 6 before it.
Yeah.
5 and then a no contest. So 6 where he didn't get a win because of the eye poke.
You remember when
With
he
the
was?
IR.
You remember when he was like, "I can fight Conor McGregor, man."
Yeah, that's who you keep him for that. You keep him for if Conor McGregor really needs a tune-up after this injury. You give him Jeremy Stevens, you really find out if he's gone.
You know.
Because watch Jeremy Stevens walk out there and knock his fucking head off.
Well, not
I
only
don't
that,
know what you guys would think
well,
about that.
No,
but-
here's my thing. He definitely could. He's a great one puncher. But if Conor does
Oh,
win,
I
it's going to be an exciting fight.
He'll
It's
sleep him first round, especially if Stevens just has lost it.
yeah.
It would be a really, but it wouldn't look like
That
even
slip
though
left, that
he's
slip
lost. I mean,
It's
he
gonna
got
be that-
dominated by Qatar.
It's going to be that padded and slip left by Conor. If those two
I
fought,
think he would hit him with a straight overhand
Conor.
in a big exchange. I think he would just catch him in a big exchange.
No,
If that's how it went down, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
if they did a big exchange, but I'm telling you,
It's Jeremy Stevens we're talking about.
no, he's going to.
Stevens is a little too stiff.
No, he's going to do it just like Aldo. He's going to let Jeremy Stevens take that front foot forward. He's going to slip it and right
something
left over
like that
top.
happen.
Okay, maybe. Might even set it up beforehand.
Yeah, slip it and put that left over the top.
The old first 15 seconds that everybody plans for, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been a while since he's had a good run of things. And he never actually did have a good run of things, Jeremy Stevens.
No,
No, he's a
but
good
he
gatekeeper.
Did always fight
Good
killers.
gatekeeper.
He's right
Yeah.
about that when he.
Yeah, I mean, none of this is easy.
Yeah.
His losses make better careers than a lot of people's,
Yeah.
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 win column.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But I mean, he's fought a death row for
He had that crazy fight with
15 years.
Choi Duho. I'm sorry for butchering
Yeah.
that, but yeah. That fight was wild.
I mean, I'm looking at a Dean Thomas
He beat
fight
Gilbert
that he
Melendez.
had.
That's a
He
good
was
win.
12-2.
That's a great. That's a
12
great
and
win.
1.
Yeah.
At the
Walking
time,
into it-
Gilbert was supposed to be hot shit.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Gilbert Melendez.
Oh yeah, that was.
Gilbert Melendez.
Well, I'm looking way down the list just to see exactly how long this guy's been fighting killers. I'm looking when he walked into Dean Thomas at 12-1. This honestly is a derailing fight for Jeremy Stevens in 2007, May of 2007.
Well, dude, Dean Thomas is in every corner in UFC nowadays too. That
Dean
guy's
Thomas
amazing.
2007 was. I mean, he's in the same position coming up as Jeremy Stevens is. An up and comer who can really do some great things. Right? Actually, probably far more experience than Jeremy Stevens.
Probably
at
the
this
two
time.
biggest wins in Stevens' whole career is probably Melendez and then
Rafael Dos Anjos.
Hayden Barrow.
Oh, okay.
Did he beat?
Well,
Rafael Dos
again, it
Anjos?
was 2008. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos.
That's
He did?
That was when Rafael Dos Anjos did like the Charles
Knocked him
Oliveira.
out.
Yeah.
That-
Damn.
in the third round with 39.
Dos Anjos was similar to Oliveira before Dos Anjos' run, where he was like kind of back and forth. Then he went hot and he got his
I
title.
remember when he knocked the fuck out of Marcus Davis.
But just imagine, this guy's been fighting a true death row. Seriously, if you look at his fights from, like, he's just a few fights later, he's fighting Cole Miller and Spencer Fisher and Rafael Dos Anjos.
Spencer-
and
He
Joe
fought
Rogan.
Melvin Gillard in Indianapolis. Hell
Damn right,
yeah.
Spencer Fisher.
Lost.
Say what? What about Spencer Fisher? Spencer Fisher beat him. Joe Lozon, Gleason Tabal, I mean, Sam Stout, Melvin Gillard. It's just like, after he loses that initial fight, they don't give him any, like,
Dude, you remember when Sam Stout was supposed to be that guy coming up? Like he was
Yeah.
supposed to
Kinda.
be that guy.
Yeah.
He had
they're
that.
like, it didn't
pushing the
last very
Canadians.
long.
Yeah, because that's what GSP was coming
They're
up hot,
pushing the Canadians heavy.
and he was one punching people and
Because
stuff.
GSP was selling
He was
out.
one bunch of people. and
GSP
stuff.
was
That'll
selling
do it.
his fights were selling out in Canada, so they were probably like, let's get some more Canadians up in this.
Well, that was before like there was multiple draws. At
Yeah.
that point, it was like GSP.
Andy.
Well, and then you had like you had your light heavyweight going on with Chuck Liddell and them and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Chuck and Tito and Randy and all those
Yeah.
guys. And
Well, and then like the thing is if Anderson Silva, if you think about it this way, if Anderson Silva wasn't as prolifically good as he was, the 185 division wouldn't have sold tickets because like
UFC wouldn't have sold tickets for a little while.
well GSP was always there too,
Well,
and,
yeah.
and 170 was deep then.
What was the more entertaining fight?
Well, but the thing is, it wasn't like Anderson was more entertaining than GSP, but the 170 division was the selling division at that time.
I'll go out on a limb and say GSP's fights were always amazing to me.
Oh, I like it.
Personally,
Yeah,
I loved watching his
it's
fights.
tactical. It's,
And I was
smart.
always being a fan of his, and I could imagine if you were not a fan of his as well, this would have been even more intense. But I was concerned for him being knocked out.
one of the funniest things
I watched
when
him, it always
anytime
made
he
me-
would fight is that beforehand there'd always be that one guy at the party who would be like, he's gonna get fucking knocked
Right.
out, and then
Every
halfway through
time.
the fight they act like they're losing interest in the fight because GSP is just utterly dominating every second. of the
It's a Floyd Mayweather like
yeah,
situation.
It's like, oh, he
Where-
sucks.
Yeah, and all you can do is pinpoint moments that maybe
He's boring.
a round was misjudged.
Yeah.
A fight could have been called differently. That's how great they are.
Yeah.
When you have to go to the it's rigged argument. You
Well,
know
and
what
then
I mean?
like when,
Or-
I remember, I'll never
You know what I'm
forget.
saying?
I will never forget being there and watching him catch that head kick from Carlos Condit, and I was like, his reign is over.
Yeah.
When he
That
gets
was
rocked and he's like on the ground, I'm like, oh my god, it's actually happening right now.
Was that fight?
did it happen, Kyle?
It didn't.
It didn't happen.
Well, no, trust me. Like I was just scared because that's my favorite fighter of all time, still is. And I was like, is this really? Because I thought
That was my point. That's what
Well, I
I felt
thought
like made
Carlos
his fights
Condit-
great. People don't like his fights because he didn't finish a lot. You know, we've had these discussions in private. These guys just they don't. A lot of people who watch UFC, they're only enthralled in the. I love a full round fight.
Me too.
I need at least a couple on every card.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta say this real quick. I was reading an article about, I think it was some writer. It wasn't Brett, but it was some UFC writer, and he was like, you know what? I don't. Israel's talking about going in there and just pulverize him in the first round and doing it or whatever. He's like, I don't think that'd make you look any better than you already are. What'd make you look good is if you just dominate him for 25 minutes. Like if you actually just dominate Robert Whittaker for 25 minutes, because that's Robert Whittaker's fight. That's what he wants to do. He wants to take you into deep waters and make you work constantly, always do this. That he's like, what would make you look like the best fighter in the world is if you go in there and actually take Robert Whittaker into deep waters and dominate that fight still.
Yeah, didn't do what they do well, better
Yeah.
than them. Yeah. Okay, so take
This pay per view.
that takes us to the pay per view as well as you're getting ready. So
We're gonna do the UFC 271, just the main card predictions. So do you guys want to do it main event down, or do you want to start with the opener and move up?
surprise me.
Throwing out
So
there.
We'll start with the opener, and it's Bobby Green versus Nazra Hakras.
I'm going to say this right now. I don't know much about the other guy. I like that Bobby Green's randomly on a tear. Like randomly putting.
You've seen him before. That's the guy that fought Dan Hooker recently. That's who Bobby
Okay.
Green's fighting.
Okay, so that's. I mean, that's
That's a good fight.
Well, here's my thing. I was as a betting man. Bobby Green surprisingly is the favorite in that fight, and I find that surprising after
hearing who he's fighting.
Yeah,
because that guy's good.
Yeah, because like I just think Bobby Green's been resurrecting his career recently. He was just like he was on the edges. He took a fill-in fight and knocked the guy out who's supposed to be an upcomer, and now he's.
Well, I was going to say he was going to lose, but I love your you just brought a lot of morale to him. I feel like I'm like, okay, this is a story.
He just
and I go for the guy with the story.
Bobby Green just TKO'd Iaquinta in the first round.
Yeah,
that's a good win.
That was a fill-in fight. It was a fill-in too. He took it on short notice. I'm pretty sure.
Wow, that's even cooler. And it was in New York. He TKO'd Al in his fucking home. That's where he's from, right, Al?
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe. So he lost his 2 fights before that. I can't believe after just the one win over Al, they're like, here, let's give him this guy who's an upcoming monster.
Yeah.
And
Nazra just lost to Dan Hooker, but overall in the UFC, he's 5-3.
Well, it looks like he's starting to like piece his career together a little more.
It's not bad, 5-3.
Coming into the idea of standing in the octagon.
His losses are to Dan Hooker, which is a good loss. Drew Dober, which I think is a good loss.
Drew Dober's type of dude that
Marcin Held, who is like a former Bellator like title contender.
I would love if Drew Dober made a run.
Well, Drew Dober's type of dude that like don't let him get in a groove. Don't let him get in a groove. Don't let him feel comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Or he will make you. He's athletic. He'll make you pay for it.
Okay, so officially,
dominate him.
Matt, what are you officially predicting for that fight?
Green.
Okay, what do you got?
I'm gonna say Green, but I'm gonna put money on the other guy.
Yeah,
I'll probably just go ahead and go against you guys and put Nazra.
Well, my thing is now that we're talking about it, like those betting odds, he's like plus 200. You put that in a parlay, you can make money off that.
Okay, the next fight at bantamweight: Kyler Phillips versus Marcelo Rojo.
All I'm saying is, fuck Kyler Phillips, and I'll just end it there.
You don't like Kyler Phillips?
I think I don't.
You don't fuck with him.
Well, he's very exciting. Like he does a lot of like crazy stuff.
I've seen his fight.
But you know he's gonna win.
He fought Holly and Paiva, the guy that fought Sean O'Malley recently.
No, he's.
I remember watching. I think I was like on the phone talking to you when we were watching that fight.
Yeah, no, he's a very exciting guy.
So it was Sandhagen Dillashaw. It was on that card.
Yeah. We were on the phone for that one. He seems to be an exciting guy, but he's just.
Rojo doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
All I'm saying, is he filler?
He's
either a filler. He's either a filler or he's in a monster camp.
He's 16-8, so
he's either a filler
fill-in.
or he's in a monster camp. If he's in a monster camp that's put out undefeated guys and they're like, this guy's amazing.
So who do you think's going to win? You just because you don't like a guy doesn't mean you think he's going to lose. You know, you still think Kyler Phillips is going to win, though, right?
I think Kyler Phillips.
Yeah, I think he. Well, the thing is, he definitely should.
Okay, I was just making sure.
He definitely should win.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
I'll never. Here's my thing: if Kyler Phillips gets into like main events and like big fights, I'll never be like too excited to see him there. That's the thing.
Okay, so I'm going Kyler Phillips. You're going Phillips.
Yep.
Are you going Phillips?
Yeah, might as well just take it.
This thing. Okay. All right. Here's where it gets a little fun. The final 3 fights, the big ones for the card. Oh man, here's the one we should do on the prelims real quick before we get to those, because it's kind of wild that this is on the prelims. Andre Arlovski versus Jared Vanderaa.
Dude, I looked up
Vandera, I think that's how you say it.
I looked up Andre Arlovski's record the other day when I was looking at this card. I'm pretty sure his first UFC fight was in 2002.
That's insane, dude. This guy's been fighting.
Check it real quick.
In the UFC for like, well, there was a lot of years he wasn't in the UFC.
Yeah, but I mean, he was fighting for a heavyweight title in like 2002.
That's
2002.
Crazy.
I'm just trying to learn more about Jared Vanderaa, the Mountain.
The Mountain. At
He's
at 135. Oh no, I thought you were talking about.
Arlovski's on a 2-fight winning streak right now.
Yeah, he is.
You got to go with Andre Arlovski, right?
Yeah, just that's what I'm going.
Just because of your love.
Well, I'm just going through Arlovski because I remember always wanting him to beat Tim Sylvia.
Yeah,
always.
Okay, now we'll get into the final 3 fights on the main card, starting with Jared Cannonier versus Derrick Brunson. I believe Cannonier is the number 3 ranked UFC middleweight.
Well, he just lost
Brunson is the number 4 ranked middleweight.
Didn't Cannonier just lose to a title contender?
Who was it?
He just beat Kelvin Gastelum, but before that he lost to Whitaker.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He's actually in his last 5, he's won 4-1 with wins over David Branch, Anderson Silva, Jack Hermansson, and Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, the only guy to beat him is Whitaker, in other words. So recently,
at 185, at 205 he has some losses, but at 185 he's only got 1 loss.
So we're looking at a 4-year span right now. In a 4-year span, the guy's only lost to Robert Whitaker.
In a 4-year span where he's only fought 5 times.
And then
Well, yeah, I guess that. Well, no, 4-year span. We were looking at 2018. He had also lost in 2018 to Dominic Reyes.
Okay.
that was at 205. He
Oh,
dropped
look at the
down to
blonde
185.
Brunson. Look at blonde Brunson here.
Ooh, Brunson on a fucking
Oh,
fight
on a
winning
tear.
streak.
It's really hard to bet against Brunson right now.
Do it say
Yeah.
fight of
He's
the
looked
night?
so good. Well, and it's like I was looking up some news articles about this fight
But
specifically.
doesn't it feel like if somebody was going to catch Brunson, it'd be Cannonier?
Cannonier, and he said he's like, I'm gonna knock him out in the first round. Well, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
That's
I'm-
what's that fight's
Kinda
kind
the
of
shot.
got me flipping back and forth a little bit.
I think it's going to be every round starts standing up. And then about a minute in, it's going to
Derrick
be
Brunson
4
shoots
minutes
it.
of Derrick Brunson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he doesn't knock him out soon,
Mhm.
I don't think
Dude,
they
when
get
Derrick Brunson
dragged.
punished Edmund Shabazian. Did you watch that fight?
No, I mean not
Punished
live.
him, dude.
I mean, he's
Shabazian,
punished
I think,
a
was
lot of
winning,
people recently.
And then Brunson just took him down and just punished him.
Well, yeah, because Brunson got trashed in the first round and then
Yeah.
dominated too after that. I'm on the blonde Brunson train right now, and he said he's only fighting 2 more times.
I just
I'd
love.
like to see him get a title
I've
shot.
never
there.
been a huge Derrick Brunson fan. I know that wrestling reigns supreme, right?
Yeah.
Especially in certain weight classes. But when he ruined Kevin Holland, I was so happy. I was like,
oh, dude, me
you
too.
just taught Kevin Holland a big time lesson. You know?
Yeah.
Kevin Holland's dropping to 170 now. I know that's.
I mean, Derrick Brunson changed his career.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's got to start winning now.
Well, especially because everyone after the Jacare fight, people were like, "Oh, Kevin Holland is something else."
Well, yeah, and he's been
Something
fighting
else.
a lot.
Yeah, fought
So-
4 times that year.
Yeah.
All right, so what are you going with
Oh,
officially?
Cannonier, just because I'm a huge Cannonier fan.
Okay.
Brunson.
It's hard to go against
Brunson 3-round decision.
It's kind of hard over brain thing. But, I'm like, yeah, I got a 30-40% chance of being right with Cannonier. I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Go knock his head off. It's going to be great. It's going to be the highlight
I'm
of the
going to
entire
go
show.
be a little safe with this one and go Brunson.
I think Brunson may be the underdog, but that makes sense because he's 4 to Cannonier's 3.
I'll tell you right now, if it goes to decision, I'll bet anybody money right now. If it goes to decision, you might want to say Brunson wins, right?
Yeah.
I would not think so in this card. Because if Derrick Brunson's serious about retiring soon, no judge is going to want to give him an edge on a card.
Well, here's my
There's
thing.
no point in it.
The rounds he's going to win are going to be the type of shit that you can't mark it down as a loss on the card.
Because you're dragging a guy around.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, don't be surprised if it's like
What's Jared Cannonier's takedown defense? I mean, I don't,
second round rear naked choke by Brunson would not surprise me.
I mean,
could
don't
see
think-
that,
I don't
yeah.
think it'd surprise any of us, would it?
Or
But
maybe dragging him even into the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Just dragging
I
him.
don't think
in
like
late.
Cannonier's really been tested on the ground too much. It's like I don't really remember him having.
I don't remember what the Whitaker fight looked like. I think I watched it, but I really don't remember what it looked like.
I bet he got outclassed in more than one way.
Probably. Whitaker's really good.
So
Okay, so official predictions. You got Cannonier, Kyle has Brunson, and I have Brunson as well. Now I get to the really fun fight of the card, in my opinion, the heavyweight fight between recent title contender Derrick Lewis and up-and-comer fan favorite Tai Tuivasa.
I think it's going to
Multiple
go the
times.
distance. It's going to be a snoozer,
gonna be a
and it'll
snooze
be a
fest.
draw.
Well, here's my thing. Have you ever seen Francis Nagano versus Derrick Lewis?
Yes.
It was a snoozer.
It was the worst
It went
fight.
the distance.
It was the worst fight I've ever seen.
and
in
it
my
should
life.
have been a draw.
I feel like Tai Tuivasa is a guy, though, who was like,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I sometimes start to doubt Derrick Lewis. This
I
is
think-
a doubt moment, and I don't know why I wouldn't doubt Tai Tuivasa, but I don't. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna knock his head off.
Here's my thing, and like this is what I was saying to you guys earlier. Derrick Lewis, they put Derrick Lewis against these guys who are better technical strikers all the time, and what happens? He puts them completely out of their fucking life. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to get outlanded by like probably 40 punches, maybe land 6 the whole fight, and he's going to win by KO.
Well,
could be.
I think that's one of only so many ways it can happen, right? He does it a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Just,
It's just-
pulling out of the back. Ty, he'll open his hands. He'll be winning a fight, and he'll just open his hands up,
And that's
Yeah.
where Derrick Lewis will.
clip him.
Well, here's my thing. If it doesn't go like that, I think Ty wins in under 2 minutes.
Oh, that's my gut. My
Yeah.
gut tells
My
me
gut
Ty.
kind of tells me something special is going to happen with Ty.
Yeah, under 2 minutes if he wins.
Because
Just put your hands down and just see how it goes. I don't think Derrick Lewis will want to put his hands down at the beginning of that. I kind of think he should more often than not. Just kind of go swing.
Well,
for the
especially
fences.
because his rising punches are some of his best knockouts is where he's got his hand dropped and he rises.
Well, I
like
think
an
it's just-
uppercut
well, I
or-
just think it's
how he
kind
got Volkov, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
and it's how he got Curtis Blades.
Oh man, that cursed Blades just flung that meat cleaver right into his face. I do feel it's fool's gold that he's won late in fights. I feel like that is
Dude,
not
the Volk fight was unreal.
'cause he's getting
Yeah.
owned.
Dude,
He's getting killed.
It could have been
And
a
Joe Rogan
fucking-
was literally like, he could win still at any point, and he literally lands. It's
13
fucking-
seconds left in the fight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer in my opinion, Derrick Lewis, and I doubt him all the time.
He has the
He's the
most
knockout king right now.
knockout king.
Nobody has
and
more
we think he's
knockouts
going to
than
get slept by Taito Ivasa. Hopefully, he's just great. Who cares who wins?
Yeah.
Could not care less.
No, I think it's gonna.
I like both of them a lot.
I don't think it'll hurt either of them.
I think
That's the
it-
interesting thing about heavyweight is Taito Ivasa will come out and sleep a guy here in a few
Yeah.
months after he loses.
Heavyweight's so thin you
We'll
can
forget.
lose 1 or 2 in a row and then win one big fight, and then you're like a title
So
contender.
who
again.
Ty fight last?
Ty fought and knocked out.
We watched it together. I
Yeah.
remember we all got together.
It was
for
on a
it.
big pay-per-view we recently watched. I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought it was Greg
Augusta
Hardy.
Sakai on UFC
Okay,
269.
so if
Greg
he
Hardy was 2 fights.
if he
ago.
loses,
It was on the Oliveira Poirier card.
if he loses, do you give him Curtis Blades?
No. Ooh, if Taito Ivasa loses?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I'd see that. If he wins, what does he get a fucking title shot?
hell yeah,
It's going to take a while
Hell
though because
yeah.
I heard talks of Jones at heavyweight is like getting realer.
well, I mean,
that-
but when
And they're saying
Whoa.
Nagano might need time to recover, and then also there's like contract stuff with
Well,
those guys.
Well, if he
So
needs
if
time
they
to
do
recover,
Jones
it's
versus
gonna
Stipe,
it would be
steep. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I say if that fight doesn't happen and Tua wins, he gets steep.
I'm telling you right now, I never
I
want to
would
see.
like to see that. Yeah, or I'd like to see Derrick Lewis Stipe. Honestly,
I'd want to see Ty more.
yeah, I would
I
too.
think it'd be
but-
more entertaining.
Yeah, he's just that weird 3-loss in a row in his ledger. It's so
Well,
strange.
And then now he's won what 4
4 in a row, and
all by knockout.
he started out with 8 or 9 in a row.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my thing. It's like Steep obviously got knocked out a couple times, but I've seen him take monster shots and still do just fine.
I think he would destroy Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't think he would destroy Taito Ivasa. I think Taito Ivasa might have a moment.
No, he has
with him.
he has a better
Yeah.
he has a better little.
You know, I would not ever want to see John Jones versus either of those guys. Derrick Lewis, I feel like John Jones would absolutely destroy Taito Ivasa or Derrick
Yeah.
Lewis. I would not ever want, if that is a possibility in the distant future, I would never want to see him match up with a lot
John
of
Jones is
heavyweights.
only going to fight a title fight, and he'll probably stop right afterwards.
Okay, if
Yeah.
if John Jones were to run 5 fights in a row in heavyweight, I think it would be. It's hard to say more dominant when he dominated at 205 for so long, but you know what I'm trying. It would be
Well, he towards the end, like when his young 205 was great. Towards the end, you could tell he was having a hard time cutting and stuff like that, and injuries were catching
that's
up.
a good point.
So the fights were getting closer. Like
but just the
Dominique
natural
Reyes.
athleticism, I
Like-
feel like would give problems to
Dude,
heavyweights.
after you see Reyes' his last couple of fights, do you really think that real prime John Jones would have had any business going the distance with that guy?
No. Oh no.
Or
'Cause I don't think
Thiago-
Reyes
Thiago
just got
San-
bad overnight. I just don't think he was ever that good.
Thiago Santos, same thing. Like
So did we all called it? I called Ty. You called Ty. You called
Derrick Lewis.
Derrick Lewis.
Okay. And then on to
You're an idiot.
grand finale of the evening. It is the highly anticipated rematch between one Robert Whittaker, former middleweight champion of the world, and current middleweight champion of the world, Stylebender Israel Adesanya. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this
I'll
one?
let you start on this.
Estrogen
guy.
titty? Is that what you're talking about?
Ooh, estrogen. That's some strong, spicy words coming from K-Rock.
I mean, I saw the titty coming out in walkawts. There was estrogen in that
I
mug.
think he just might have an interest in nipple
Right.
play. I will never put such accusations on a gentleman I've never met in my life.
Well, my thing is like steroids doesn't help
So the
him
thing
anyway.
that stands
His
out to
style
me
doesn't
coming into this fight
matter.
is that Whittaker has been on a fucking tear
against big names.
against big names, and
He was on a
looked really good.
He was on a tear before Israel too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Israel's
That's
his
the
only.
thing is Israel kind of has this power over people where they just don't show up against them.
Well, no, I was talking to Matt about this the other day. Whitaker was like, I may be able to stand with this guy, and his coaches clearly thought that too, or something. I think the game plan is going to be 100% different this time. He's not going to get lulled into boxing and stuff like that. He's going to clinch more. He's going to try to body up on him more.
Goddamn dog. God damn it. Watch it not even come through.
Probably
on the
not.
recording.
I can't really hear it in the headphones right now. So
Oh,
We're
nice. Hey, look at that. No dog. Anyways, no, you guys both know, don't you? Like deep down, you know that Israel Adesanya is going to embarrass Robert Whittaker again.
embarrass
I
is
think
not.
it's-
I don't think it's going to be embarrassing.
I think it's gonna be a good. I think it's.
I think you-
I think it's gonna be a much better fight than the first time.
You
around.
literally said it a moment ago. People just don't show up against Israel. He's a weird fucking guy.
Yeah, he's just got an awkward style.
You know who did show up against him? Jan, because he's not. He doesn't care. Well, he doesn't care about ego. He's one of those
Yeah,
fighters that doesn't
exactly.
care. He steps in. You're not gonna rock his mental
I mean,
state.
because
no matter what.
he's had ups and downs. I think,
Yeah.
but, you know, and I think a lot of people are starting to get the sense of that Robert Whittaker had to have a down, right?
Yeah.
And that now he's coming back looking better than he ever has before. I think that's like kind of I think.
Well, I think
Israel Adesanya just had a similar down,
I think
and I think he will also
he looked
come
good in
back.
his fight. He had a fight back since then. He looked really good.
Yeah, who was it? Trying to remember who it was.
Wait, what? Spaced out. For
Israel's title defense at 185 after losing at 205.
Oh, it was Marvin Vittori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he dominated.
I mean, I just Marvin. What a forgettable cat. You're not getting into
and that fight was. We watched that, me and you.
Oh yeah. We got together over here and and we just chilled out, drank a couple beers, and watched it. And I mean,
Vittori just had like no heart during that fight.
Well, I just feel he couldn't. He wanted to enforce something. He wanted to go with what he had to offer. He just got shut down.
He thrashed Paulo right before or after that, right?
Oh yeah, that was
yeah. But he just couldn't do what he wanted to do, and that's what you have to adjust with a guy like Adesanya, right?
He's a style bender. He's bending your. He's not letting you get in your style, not letting you do your thing. That's
right.
That's his big thing.
And I feel like that's the same thing that's going to happen. And I'm kind of sensing like a counter strike knockout. Robert, I got you where I want you, and getting clipped up, maybe even back to the cage as he knocks him out. But I do not think it's going to go the distance, and that's what makes me happy about it.
If it does go to distance, I see it hard that Israel wins that fight.
You do. I'm actually getting I feel like Whitaker would stand a good chance if it went the distance.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Israel has. I think the betting odds after the fourth round, unless Israel dominates the first three and he can coast the last two.
I feel like the distance should not be even applied. I feel like these guys both have amazing tanks. I feel like that has nothing to do with how the outcome of the fight. The striking and stuff, it's going to start turning into more of a brawl and stuff. And like Israel does not actually look that good in a brawl. I don't think it will. No, I think he'll keep it clean into rounds 4 and 5. I think Israel. I think he'll stay really crisp, really clean. I think he'll move a lot. I think you're gonna get a lot of movement. Yeah. So, okay, so that's the card. Run through the
final predictions for the main event.
Final, Israel.
You have Israel Adesanya.
I told both you guys before the podcast I'm going to die on the Robert Whitaker hill.
Okay, Robert Whitaker, and I'm leaning both. I'm leaning a little more towards Israel.
We have to have a thing where if a person is right, and like if you were right, if you're going with Izzy,
yeah,
and Kyle were correct and we were wrong, that something would have to. If you're like the one person betting on somebody,
especially when you're like saying I'll die on that hill, and
exactly. You have to have a reward, right?
Like when we're like actually like start doing this more like to you want to wrap this up and then we can just
perfect.
We're
at 45 minutes right now.
47.
Hey, it's perfect. Well,
hell yeah!
Is it still recording?
It's still recording.
If this goes out, I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening. You get to know us a lot better.
Thank you a lot, seriously.
Super.
It'll get better.
It'll get way better.
We'll get things figured out.
This was super fun. Most fun I've had in a long time.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, guys. Bye.